a knight, an officer, a true icon and patriot, a gentleman par excellence, an exceptional teacher, a charismatic and charming orator. He was an amazing father, a grandfather, and a great-grandfather. A wise woman once said, being alive is like playing a song. When you're dead, it's only your memory and the melody that lingers on. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, join me to welcome Mrs. Charity Jonathan as she comes to read the biography of her late father. Please can we give her a round of applause as she comes up? Mrs. Charity Jonathan. She comes to read. Sorry, Mrs. Christie Jonathan, sorry.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, friends and family here. Sorry for the mix-up. It's actually Irene Olobayo, not Christiana Jonathan, taking the biography. Thank you. Reading the biography of our dear father, His Royal Highness EZE Vincent Chuwunenye Dururtd. He was a monarch, a knight and an officer, a true icon and a gentleman, an exceptional teacher, a charismatic and charming orator. He was an amazing father, grandfather, and a great-grandfather. He was held in high regard by the family and a lot of people whom he encountered in his lifetime until he left us to be with our dear Heavenly Father. His Royal Highness EZE Vincent Chuwunenye Dururtd was born on the 15th of August, 1937, to the family of the late Chief and Lolo Daniel Regina Dururtd, popularly called Papa and Mama Nkuku, as we fondly call them. He was born in Nkume, Njaba local government area in Imo State. He was the only surviving male child of his mother, amongst 3 sisters and 9 stepsisters. His early education began at St. Michael's Primary School, Nkume, in 1994. From there, he went on to attend Native Authority School, Amucha. He continued on his post-primary education in 1952, which began at Trinity High School, Oguta, after which he attended Bishop Shanahan Teachers Training College, Olu, for a year. Thereafter, he began his tertiary education in University of Ibadan in 1962. And between that time and 1981, he also attended University of London, BA Econs, History and Law, and Manchester Business School in England. He acquired various academic professional qualifications, which included a diploma in education from London and an international teacher's certificate from Manchester, United Kingdom. He attended various special courses, which included physical education course for Games Master at Alvani Koko College of Education, Owerri, in 1974. Attachment course to all British immigration schools and formations in 1981. Comparative immigration course at the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center, Glencoe, Georgia, in USA, 1982. On return from this course, he produced a document that formed the memo for setting up a National Border Patrol unit in the Nigerian Immigration Service. EZE Vincent Chuwunenye Dururtd was one of the few Nigerians who was determined to make true positive change in the country whenever it was within his power, and he did that to the best of his ability. He had a passion for teaching, and so it was not a surprise that he spent a huge part of his work life actively teaching in the educational sector and impacting lives. He began his teaching career in 1959 as headmaster of St. Anthony's Primary School, Awomama, in Imo State, and afterwards he held the following teaching positions: teacher at Community Grammar School, Awomama, Imo State; teacher at Madonna High School, Ekiti; instructor at Federal Training Center, Kaduna State; instructor at Government Trade Center, Olu, Imo State; lecturer at Staff Training Center, Potiskum, Yobe State; senior inspector at the Ministry of Education, Owerri, Imo State. His teaching experience ended in 1977, and his career in Nigerian Immigration Service began in June 1978 as the pioneer commandant of Nigerian First Immigration Training School in Kano. From August 1984 to December 1986, he served as the Comptroller General of Immigration in charge of Sokoto State Immigration Command. During this time, he put a stop to the influx of illegal immigrants into Nigeria through illegal routes in Sokoto State. Under a technical aid program, he was seconded to the Gambia as the immigration advisor for 3 years, precisely 1987 to 1989. He accomplished the following major assignments: separation of the Gambian immigration from the Gambian police and constituting them into separate departments; increasing the number of official entry ports, air, land, and sea, from 6 to 18; amending the Gambian Alien Act and getting the Gambian Parliament to enact it into law; wrote the first Gambian immigration manual, immigration regulations, and suspect index. Those 3 documents constitute their standard operational booklet. Harmonized the Gambian immigration laws with those of Senegal for purposes of the short-lived Senegambian Confederation. On his return to Nigeria, he held the following positions and performed various duties: Deputy Director in charge Administration, Finance and Technical Services in 1990. In this position, he produced the first up-to-date immigration staff list. He also produced and successfully defended a departmental budget that wiped out deficit financing and created a special subhead for the present immigration barracks located along Abuja Airport Road today. Deputy Director in charge ECOWAS and African Affairs in 1991. He held this position for 1 year, during which he single-handedly produced 2 operational handbooks for implementation of the ECOWAS protocols and convention. They are ECOWAS Travel Certificate Manual and ECOWAS Residence Card Manual. Deputy Controller General in charge training and manpower development in 1992 to 1993. When the 3 paramilitary services of customs, immigration, and prisons were removed from the civil service with effect from October 1992 and placed at par with the Nigerian police, he was promoted to the rank of Deputy Controller General, equivalent of a police DIG. He was placed in charge of a newly created Directorate of Training and Manpower Development. It was to serve as a think tank of the service. He also mobilized the staff, and they together produced the staff regulations and scheme of service. He also opened 2 additional training schools in Sokoto and in Olu, Imo State. Deputy Controller General, IC Operations in 1994. This was his last appointment in the Immigration Service before his retirement. He was key to the organization of a very successful seminar on security awareness for operational staff. The document produced from that week-long seminar still remains a valid, vital document for the Immigration Service today. In December 1994, he retired honorably from the Nigerian Immigration Service after 35 incredible years of service. Although retired, EZE Vincent Chuwunenye Duru was only retired from a phase of his life as he continued to garner achievements and recognition from incredible leadership qualities. These were some of his notable post-retirement achievements: a director at Edel Center Nigerian Limited, Lagos, chairman of Vimato Nigerian Limited, Abuja, an active member and vice president in charge, Commerce of Abuja, Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture in 1996 to 2003. He was patron of Imo Welfare Association Abuja and patron of Igbo Community Welfare Association in Abuja from 1995 to 2002. He was chairman of Abuja Archdiocesan Catholic Laity Council in 1995 to 2001. He was president of Abuja Metropolitan Council of the Society of St. Vincent de Paul, a worldwide organization that takes care of the poor, from 1995 to 2001. Installed as the village head of Umakuma, Nkume, in 1994, in succession to his late father. He was awarded the National Honor of MFR on the 16th of December 2003. He co-authored 2 booklets with his wife, Ugweze Cecilia Ukanna Duru, presented at the celebration of their 50th wedding anniversary, Golden Jubilee, on the 3rd of January 2015, titled 50 Years of Joyful Bondage, and quotes from Fifuma Autonomous Community on the 23rd of December 2003 with the title Obiukwu. He was king until his glorious exit on the 6th of August 2003. EZE VC Duru began his life as a family man from the moment he identified his wife in 1960. He knew instantly that she was the young lady he wanted to spend the rest of his life with. Although she didn't know that yet, as they used to say, he went on to marry her on the 3rd of January 1965, and their beautiful union produced 9 surviving children, 2 handsome boys and 7 beautiful girls, who have all grown up to be well-rounded, successful men and women in their chosen professions. They were blessed with 28 grandchildren and 5 great-grandchildren. EZE Duru her and gave her reason to hold her head high and walk tall. They were best friends and spent most of their evenings together, sitting outside, chatting, eating. Other evenings, in his younger days, he would go out and play tennis or badminton. Like every union, they had their ups and downs, but they overcame them all and stuck with each other. He was never one to raise his voice above a certain pitch, even in an argument. He always maintained a calm demeanor. He was not one to express too many emotions, but somehow he made you feel seen and loved. He was an amazing father, the kind that just made you want to be a good child. Even though he never demanded it or made you feel you need to be for him to love you, he celebrated the little wins and would let you know he was proud of you. He somehow managed to make every child feel like the favorite child and had a nickname for every one of his children. He was a teacher at home too, and would lecture his children on interesting topics like the difference between love and like, how to identify feminine and masculine qualities in an individual, how important a good name is, and so on. He was a father his children were incredibly proud of. EZE Vincent Chuwunenye Duru loved the simple life. For someone who achieved so much, he wanted so little from this world. He never desired luxury houses, fancy cars or clothes, but was thankful for all he had. He was so dignified, yet so humble. He was not difficult to please and was always so appreciative of the little things. He left most people who encountered him in awe. He was full of wisdom and unassumingly charming. He loved God and had a passion for helping the poor. He never liked to feel dependent on anyone or be an inconvenience to anyone, and he never was. Even in his later years, he carried himself with so much grace and agility that most people wondered if he was really his age. He had a sharp memory and often remembered the names of his numerous grandchildren and specific details about them. He left this world without having to feel like he had become a burden to anyone, just as he had wanted. God called his wonderful son back home in glory on a Sunday morning, 6th of August, 2003, a few days to his birthday. It was a difficult day for all who loved him so deeply. Although he left an irreplaceable vacuum in the lives of his loved ones and his community, but he lived a life worthy of great celebration. His memory will live for generations to come, to the glory of God. Thank you.
He is my light, my strength, my song, this cornerstone, this solid ground, firm through the fiercest drought and storm. What